started. OXG beginning on defense, w7m on attack.
Interesting. If we're an NA fan, we want to see a different OXG now than we did earlier, because that wasn't what we're used to seeing in the NAL, in their domestic league. And if you're a LATAM fan, well, w7m had a great start against Gaimin Gladiators and Cafe. They were showing up in great force, both hitting their shots, playing structured, and really setting the pace for the match that they were playing. And of course, they're warmed up because it went straight from the previous game that they won onto this game, and they've actually banned Finka in both of those matchups as they've one of the first teams here in the group stage to ban Finka in particular.
w7m did not want to play against Finka against Gaimin Gladiators, and now it will be target banned towards Newers on OXG. Azami also removed from play, another strong operator for all defensive sites, but in particular, the one bomb site that you tend to see her shine on is that cache and CCTV defense. Now, obviously, if you extend over to gym and bedroom, which is the other bomb site on the top floor, you can play off-site with those Kiba barriers. But in this case, it's going to change the way that cache and CCTV are played out. The one huge difference in this matchup versus the OXG and Wolves matchup that we saw earlier today is Oxygen, when competing on this same map, had to do so without Hibana and Maverick. The attackers this time around are Finka and Thatcher, so heavy utility operators and a good fragger as well to boot with Finka, but lots of hard destruction. In fact, all of the hard destruction available for the attackers. w7m will benefit from the attacker repick, and they right now, without changing a single thing, are tripling up on that hard breach.
And I think if you were to go back to the same map you played earlier like OXG did just now, I do think that the right approach is to change the operator ban phase so you get a different game of Clubhouse. With Hibana being banned in the previous game, Basement becomes a very strong bomb site. But with Maverick being open as well, on top of that, well, it's hard to defend CCTV and Gym because of Maverick, and guess what? It's hard to defend Basement because of Hibana. So, last time OXG played this, it seemed like a defender favored Clubhouse due to the operator bans. In this case, it's kind of the other way around. I would expect the attackers to have a great shot in this matchup. The one thing they gotta work around, the kite claws, right? You gotta use your soft destruction or your grenade to, clean off those kite claws. But Newers, he cleans up JDN instead with that opening kill. That's a nice shot. Thermite off the board. Not a huge loss because it's Basement and you got Hibana open, but still, it's the opening kill.
That's a cheeky angle, but one that we've seen time and time again, one that you have to be prepared for. It sure looked like GDN was prepared for it as he was leaned in that direction, but just a bit too slow, and the way that perspective works would likely give a benefit to the defenders. A bit of team damage done by Dream, as you saw Vertical's life go down. It was because there were some rotates being made over towards blue, and Vert was just in the wrong place at the wrong time.
Actually, worth noting that Valkyrie is open. Didn't even realize that earlier, actually. I should have. But Valkyrie's on the table. Often, if not almost always banned on Clubhouse because it's so hard to fit IQ in the operator lineup itself. And these yellow pings are already granting so much information. They could be acted upon by a C4 from either Mossy or Vert himself on the Valkyrie, or even Dream on the mute. 3 C4s in their pocket. They probably want to save at least one for their plant deny later on for the round, but one could be used to try and further advance their man count lead, as they already have that 5 versus 4 situation due to Newers' early aggression onto the hard breach of Thermite.
And of course, losing the Thermite means that there's more on the shoulders of Hibana, because in a lot of ways your Maverick is not going to function as a typical hard breacher. If you're bringing a Hibana and a Thermite, in a lot of ways you're expecting those exothermic charges to maybe go on one hatch, but onto the church wall to open it wide up and allow you that access on in to get the diffuser planted. Now, if you want to get the hatches open, you have to be strategic with the way Maverick uses his blowtorch. It might take a bit more time, and those X-Kairos will need to be applied very well to the wall. As it stands right now, there's still 14 X-Kairos remaining for Herds, who takes a bit of damage and will now fire through the wall towards blue. Backing him up is JV92, but neither can secure a kill. In fact, not a single point of damage done to Oxygen in that. Vertical will evade the grenade, but not the gunfire from KZ. Foxay trades him out on the Volts. And I don't know what Laxing was doing. Maybe he was on the Valk cams, but they walk right in, waltzing into church. A Desperation Nitro Cell will confirm the kill on the KZ. Team's in a 2v2 now as Dream takes some more damage, but keeps towards the hard wall. No bullet pen kills will fall from w7m. Diffuser needs to be picked back up, and look at that. It's through the soft wall. It'll be JV to do just that. maybe get back into the bomb site. Final 15 seconds. Herd's watching the cross, long range. This is a very good position for him to be in. Will it draw out Newers in that position? They have a mark onto Dream, who is summoned into action. Diffuser surrendered, but then planted down. Dream with one, missing out on the second. Herds is there to clean up. It's Newers and Herds with limited HP. Diffuser down in a standoff in round number 1. Drawing the attention out of the Hibana as Newers rotates around. So too does the Hibana, and Herds wins the gun duel. A battle potentially for the ages, and a tense moment that W7M comes out on top of.
And it's pretty huge. A player like Newers thrives off ego and confidence. When he got that spawn peak early on, that's going to be a plus on his back saying, you know what, I can get away with this kind of stuff. Shutting down Newers in that 1v1 on the opening round is going to be huge for the long-term play of W7M, because Newers, he knows now he's being put in his place and is shut down in those important moments. They're both on 1 HP practically. One bullet could make a difference between who wins that round, but it was w7m who ended up getting that clutch. Hurts with the 3K, the cover, and with the clutch. CCTV instead, gonna change things up. And I think this is the trend that we're seeing very frequently, and it makes sense, right? You just went basement, you can't really change that many things on the fly, you're gonna need more time for that, but also more importantly is that if w7m were that comfortable attacking it as they were, well, let's just try something else first, see if that can work. Worst case, you can go back later on if there wasn't any clear successful signs there. Kai being brought up by Laxing, probably gonna be expecting that every single round because Thatcher is off the board. That enables Kai even more than before. One claw goes on the Garage Wall, one claw goes on the CC Breach. Maverick of JV will have to do some work to clean those positions out, or at the very least, try and enable Thermite to open up the walls after that fact.
Flores is also available, we should let you know, but Mute will act as a very strong counter. No Mute being brought on this round. We don't know how much Mute we're going to see from either of these teams, but if an Electric Claw is causing you trouble, Flores is an operator that we have seen on a good number of occasions, in fact, for the attackers. Small kill hole made at the top of the barricade, and a grenade tossed in to either deal with the defender that might have been in that position or get an errant Electric Claw. This one is just positioned right above the middle panel, or the middle line. I don't know what Fox-A was aiming to do there, but he throws his own nade at the ground. And there's another two, maybe trying to do a little bit of damage to JV and keep him back.
Yep. If you actually do that successfully, as Fox-A almost did, you can injure or do a ton of damage onto Maverick. I've seen teams do 4 or 6 impact grenades, just toss them out like a, artillery, essentially, try and take it down. It can work, almost did. Half HP onto JV now. Volbs as well taking some damage. Casey rather, actually getting shut down by Vert early in this round. Fuse off the board. Bit of an odd pick for CC with Mute being open on the board as well, but of course, that not being in play could have enabled the operator, not this time around.
I do wonder what KZ was thinking with that Fuse pick. Do keep in mind that Fuse's cluster charges can go through barricades and reinforcements alike.
Yes.
The reinforcement change is a relatively new one, and boy oh boy does it make for some pretty fun clips, but also it adds a bit more to what you can see from Fuse. He's a bit more of a flexible operator because of that. Either way, that's an opening pick for OXG. Vertical needs a good game. There have been some criticisms about Vertical falling off at international events and playing much better domestically. I know that in North America, Hot and Cold has that same thing thrown at his feet.
That is true. And Vertical didn't have the best first game for OXG either, so he would want to show up sooner rather than later and get himself on the board. Volp was fishing for a nade. I don't think it's going to hit much, but of course, gets some self-destruction. Wall gets open himself on JDN, or GDN rather.
I want to do the same thing, by the way, because JV and GDN, my brain just wants to call them GDN, JDN, GV, JV. It's confusing for sure. Down goes Vertical as GDN gets the very first pick for his team in this round. 30 seconds to go. They've opened up the breach. They've opened up construction. Herds just firing away with so many bullets. Still 50 plus remaining in the LMG in the hands of the Zofia. Laxing sees the sledge, tries to do some damage. Cannot. Dream another kill. He'd won in the previous round. Now another for Dream. Silenced by Herds on 1 HP. Herds might actually die to the electricity, and there it is. Laxing and Fox-A taking matters into their own hands. And OXG has a counterpunch for the very first round. The team's tied up at 1 round apiece.
It's the duo that goes way back in time. Fox-A and Lax have been through it together for many years at this point, actually. And There's something about duos or trios, like TSM in a similar fashion, where like they have like that trio of Merc, Cheat, and Bolo also sticking together for quite some time.
Right.
I love to see it because there's all this history in the roster. You can go back at previous events and rosters and lineups, etc. But one thing stays the same. And for these two guys, it is Laxing, it is FaZe, who's been through quite a lot together. And as someone who's been on a roster with people for 3+ years myself, it's always very, very nice to go through life with someone else who knows exactly what you've been through and was there, who felt the same emotions as you. It's quite an invaluable experience, right? You can't really compare to anything else. So I'm happy to have each other. So far, it's been going quite alright. They got the 1 round on the board out of 2. So they're tied up in the series 1-1. Third bomb site is, of course, going to be Jim. We are going to follow a trend of more common bomb sites. It was w7m who brought out the bar defense to great success last time we saw this being played out earlier today. But yeah.
But yeah.
But yeah.
Nice toss.
Nice toss. But yeah.
Nice toss. Thanks for throwing it to me with it. But yeah.
Well, no, it was
the best of times.
Best of times.
It was the worst of times. It was the best of times. It was the blurst of times.
Blurst? Take it back. It was Wolves who played bar.
You didn't grow up on Simpsons. I get it, didn't you?
No, I did not. I'm very sorry.
Gym and Bedroom as the next defense that we see come out. OXG could go back downstairs to church, but they will keep it in their back pocket. You're right. Bar and Stage was not played by OXG.
Nope. It was Wolves who played it.
It was indeed Wolves. Now, the thing is for OXG was they played all 6 rounds on defense, so we got to see what their site rotation looked like, which was Church, Cash, Gym, Church, Cash. Now, obviously, OXG won their very first defense, which was on Church, but they struggled on Cash and Gym, never winning Gym at all in their previous matchup today. Will they prevail against w7m? You do not want that trend line to hold. Now, these teams do play very differently, and the other big thing, too, that we need to denote here is the bans are totally different.
Yeah.
So losing Jim twice when there's no hard breachers on the board versus potentially losing Jim when it's a Finka Thatcher ban is a completely different world. Halfway point of this round. Wall opened up into Jacuzzi. We will continue our speculation, but let's focus on the where and the how of this execute. And it certainly looks like the diffuser's target will be over towards that weight room portion of the map.
Absolutely. All eyes on Dream right now, actually, because he's inside of that bathroom and he's pretty much stuck because vertical nades, windows being pressured. Has that shield that's going to be gone soon as well, perhaps. Nope. Nade goes deep in Dream instead. But Dream has a crucial position. FaZe push him to assist that as well. 2 key factors here. If w7m can clear out these 2 player positions, that's going to mean that they're in a great spot. If FaZe can stay in this corner, not get found out, maybe get a kill here, that's going to mean that OXG are in the driver's seat. That's the kill that they need.
FaZe starting things off. OXG has every single opening pick so far in this altercation. Their numbers look mighty good, but KZ has something to say about that as he picks up 2 of his own on the Laxing invert. And now Volps will narrow the numbers down to OXG for just 1. Newers will need to survive, but a pre-fire from KZ will dust him off. Impressive stuff from w7m as they take charge in round number 3 and regain the lead.
Easy way to shut down Newers. Don't even give him a chance to fight back. The pre-fire was pixel perfect, and Newers at low HP only need a single bullet. Laxing said, I am shocked in the in-game chat. Not sure exactly why, but shocked he is, apparently.
What are you shocked about, Gabe?
Tell us.
What are you shocked? What was your HP? Oh, that could have been one.
He's like, I shot this guy so many. He said 1. Oh, Jesus.
And then followed by laughter.
Yeah. When you spam like a bunch of Ks like that in the last time, it's like lol essentially.
It's Portuguese.
Sorry.
I don't know if it's actual Portugal Portuguese or if it's
That's
Brazilian
true.
Portuguese, because obviously there are subtle differences between the languages. Some more overt than others, but I'm not an expert. I'm not a Portugueseologist, so...
No, when we do a heart, we do like the greater than sign and a 3. That's how we do it, right?
Right.
They do S and 2. Like a big S, a capital S, and a 2, because it does like that same similar shape. That's how they do a heart in Latin.
Very cool.
Yeah, very cool.
Thank you for telling me that.
You're very welcome. You said you weren't an expert, so now I'm educating you on what I know about Latsem regarding their typing habits. Yes.
It's very important that you do that.
I think it's valuable because if you are in a Latsem player stream or if you interact with them on Twitter, if you type S2, they'll be like, oh, it's a heart. That's cute. That's nice. They love me, etc. Because they just do it differently. Same if you know, a bunch of Ks in chat, like 5, 6, 7, they do a ton of them. means lol. Jump off Nears, Laxing gets out kills Hurts. Headshot this time takes him out. No 1 HP survivors. It Hurts with the Hibana off the table. The great thing from w7m is that they're bringing 3 Heartbreachers. So losing Hibana in this case is not the end of the world because you got Thermite and you got the Maverick. Maverick making the wall soft, Thermite can then blow the other one up, and then you're in a great position regardless. But of course, you're a man down.
Call that a backup plan.
Yeah. Contingencies.
Contingency plan is a good way of putting it. Herds has also been the best performer on the team. You take a look. You don't need to be a caster to know that he has so many kills to his name. KZ walks in. KZ takes down Vertical. And KZ's been having a very impressive couple rounds here. Oh. Still 60 bullets remaining, but JV picked off by Laxing. That's not their intended target. You want to silence KZ as quickly as you can. But nothing really all that successful. That's the Maverick down too. So when you talked about contingency plans, your contingency is now just a single hard breach in the hands of Thermite. One exothermic charge has already gone off on the hatch. You have to suspect the other will go over towards the kitchen hatch. Maybe not. Maybe open up dirt.
Yeah.
Oh.
Less risk of an impact trick if you go dirt, of course, so a guaranteed opening versus risking kitchen. Either way, it's not really pretty because dirt is hard to take, especially given the fact that you're low on HP on KC. Probably Thermite himself got to injury in this case. Who's gonna plant? I don't know. Diffuses outside the map. Well, Volp's gonna plant. Okay.
He'll just juggle it up. That's it. 2 deaths to w7m and KZ being low on HP. Now it's Volps to survive with a single point to his name. This is actually incredible. The last 3 rounds, somebody from w7m has literally had 1 to 2 HP, and that's it. It is so unusual for us to see that. And this is also where a Finka being gone could mean the entire difference in a round. Laxing collects yet another kill, his 3rd. For a 4th, he could have them all. He just needs to find GDN in a bit of a sloppy gunfight. No, that's not what you want. Every kill could be yours, Gabe. The world could be yours. You just need to find the final Thermite inside of the tunnel, but GDN is leaving him wanting. You frisky minx, you're playing games with me, and stop it. Stop teasing. Laxing wants this final kill, the rest of the team allowing him to do that. Flashbangs go out, but the Thermite could actually deprive them, but he won't! Laxing picks up every single kill, and the round breaks to OXG.
Laxing showing up in great effect with the Kaid. Played it last time, playing it this time, finding an ace with the AUG. Honestly, it is quite difficult. The fire rate isn't that high, but he got it done. All 5 in the round for him, and he said that made up for it. Had a whiff in the previous round, then he found the hits. Easy pocket change for him. CC's up next. I'm going to see the same stable lineup from OXG. Not really anything changing here. We're keeping it the exact same spirit. Neuros gets the Melusi, Vert gets the Valkyrie, Laxing gets the Kai, Dreamers on SMG11, and Foxy is on the Wamai. All is good in the world right now. Whereas it's w7m actually doing most of the flexing right now. Showing the Ash, playing triple hard breach, double hard breach, etc. Brought the Fuse last time for CC attack. They're trying out different approaches here. And we actually saw Rogue earlier today as well, also with Kenta Arcedi playing Ash. And there was something about seeing Ash on a LAN event that takes me back to like 2018, 2019 of Siege. And the Ash is gone. We're back on Ana Sofia in the current meta of the game. Unless, of course, we're gonna do some shenanigans because we're back on Ash all of a sudden. Because of Tiger Repicks, you can change as many times as you want until that last final 5 seconds. And Ash will indeed be locked in at the end here. No few shenanigans, but a bunch of soft breach, bunch of verticality, tons of options of w7m's and how they want to approach this attacking round.
Site rotation, by the way, that OXG had done earlier today against Wolves differs this time around. Instead of going to gym twice, they went to church immediately, and they were rewarded with a victory. Again, off the back of that Lax ace. Another Lax ace. One of many that he's had.
Oh yeah, long career for Laxing.
Absolutely. Laxing has been playing non-stop for roughly about, what, 7 years straight? All the way back in the very first season. But Laxing is in our focus right now. Vertical was spotted out, almost pinched off. Now the interest from both teams is over towards the newly soft wall, leading into CCTV. Have to be guarded, and Impact had gone out from Newers to do some damage, as you talked about, can do some serious harm to the attackers, and it has indeed, removing almost 50% of JV's HP. The Maverick has done his job, though, gotten open that one side of the wall, and then the soft destruction does the rest of the trick. Newers has made his way all the way downstairs while w7m drones out the gym, bedroom, logistics. But Newers lays in wait. Very sneaky. Is he getting drawn down yet? No. JV is instead going towards the main floor, and there will be a blind spot here. Unless JV leaves his drone in a position where you can see the bottom of the main stairs, Newers could be a major thorn in the side of this Brazilian squad looking to get into the bomb site.
It's all about timing. Newers has to pick the right moment to flank because he either catch me not watching it or just getting killed for his trouble. Volps gets one from the vertical. He falls early once again. 2 and 5 on the score. But FaZe so consistent right now, trading it back time and time again.
Vertical's performance at international events will be talked about quite often. You can always dissect it and do a postmortem once the event is finished. But for now, we'll say that in the 2 matches so far today, Vertical has dramatically underperformed, and they cannot have that for OXG. It leaves way too much on the shoulders of the rest of the squad. Newers has the attention of KZ and manages to outduel him in the same spot that Newers had gotten a cheeky angle from before. He'll rush back to the bomb site with 45 seconds to go.
Yep. 2 flashbangs, 2 grenades, low HP on the side of w7m, and of course they are also a man down. No easy plant position here because Toxic Babes are coming out, but they're all gone and dusted now. No C4s. This could be a plant angle, but it's going to be risky.
And GDN's going to do that as FaZe softens up and then removes the remainder of JV. GDN shut down as Newers makes it back to the bomb site just in time to be the hero of the round, but not without some help from his friends. He gets by with a little help from his friends. Dream in particular. Yep. OXG taking their 2nd round in a row, the first time that a team has won back-to-back rounds, and that gives OXG a tie in the first half no matter what happens in this final round of their defense.
Yep. It is looking better for OXG, but it's still a close battle, and w7m, they're good on their attacks, but they are usually scary on their defensive side as well, so it has to come down to both sides. Gotta play both angles here, Clubhouse. You can't be good at just one. You gotta excel at both if you wanna go all the distance. No ball being brought up on OXG. Not the last time, not this time around either. They're gonna go through a more standard rotation. Their 3 preferred bombs are basement, gym, and CCTV. As we mentioned earlier, operator lineup pretty standard across the board. Only real change here is that they got Mute on the table without the Valkyrie, and Verk is to have his chance with the Wamai instead. Probably trying to enable Vertical more with the better gun, get that 1.5x as FaZe can play shotgun from Jillem instead, like he did the last time on this bomb site, and he also found 2 kills.
As you said, as consistent as ever is the way to define FaZe.
Yes.
When you look at players on land, FaZe and Laxing are 2 of the best. There was a thing that was published the other day that you were actually tagged in about, what was it, the highest KD or something like that?
Yeah, KD plus minus.
There are only 2 players on that list who are here at this event. Can you name them without looking at the list?
Oh, Liquid's not here.
Out of the top 10, only 2 of the players are here.
Vert is on there.
Nope.
He's not on there?
A player on this team is.
Laxing?
That's correct.
Yeah. And then there's one more?
I feel like you're gonna.
I
feel like it's obvious, but you're gonna hate yourself when you get it because you're not gonna remember it.
It's Kento.
It is.
Yeah, it's Kento. Yeah. He was like 3rd. He was right below me, I think.
He was 4th.
Oh, 4th. Okay.
The top.
I was 3rd.
The top 4 was Nesk, Palu, yourself,
yeah,
and Kanto. Laxing was down in 8th or 9th, if I remember correctly. Everybody else absent from the event. Shaiko on that list as well. There's a host of Brazilian players, too, that are just simply not here. Laxing has been very consistent online, as has FaZe. That consistency is key. OXG are a team that can make a very deep run, as they did in Charlotte, finishing 4th, but they need an all-hands approach when it comes to these executes, when it comes to these defenses, and right now, they're getting pretty close to it. Cannot lose FaZe that early on. We're not even at the halfway point of the round, and he's the only player to sustain some damage as a grenade goes off at his feet.
It is. Yellowbeam comes out. Beautiful angle here from Hertz. Finds he comes to vertical, and again, he falls early in the round for OXG. Time and time again. Wrong place, wrong time. He's off the board.
And it's been a rough day for Vertical. His performance not quite up to snuff. He did have a better international performance in Charlotte than we've seen from him previously, but you have to do more than that, honestly. When you get to this level, even one weak link is enough to doom your team. In this case, he's not dooming OXG, but he's not doing them any favors by not performing up to the level that they expect out of him, and he usually does domestically. Dream will peak, and that's a bit of an ego challenge, and guess what? Be humbled. Oh. There's another from FaZe, as they're just getting clobbered by w7m. It's a triple kill from Herds, a flawless denied by Laxing. He'll need to ace clutch, but he'll only get a single kill before Volp says, That's quite enough, son. Take a seat. A pre-fire onto the Logi door will send us away through this first half. And it's the same scoreline as when we started. Even. No team with the lead. It's 3-3.
I'd argue that when it's Laxing last man, it should be sit down dad. Because he is one of the OGs.
What about sit down daddy?
See, that's where I was going to go, but I wasn't going to go there.
I think if you ask Laxing, he would go by daddy.
Oh, he would go by daddy for sure.
He would prefer daddy for sure, yeah. Laxing is definitely daddy material. The same scoreline that W7M had against Gaimin Gladiators in the previous map. Against Cafe, on Cafe, was 3-3. It's the same against OXG. The difference is that W7M really persevered when they went into the second half. Are they going to be able to accomplish the same thing here? They're moving to defense. All they have to do is ride out what could be a very beneficial side. But the point that you brought up at the start is every single hard breacher is available. Yep. The Thatcher and Finka bans in your mind are not enough to tilt this away from it being very favorable to the attackers, if that's true. OXG now has the favorable side, being on attack with almost all their tools at their disposal.
Yeah.
They should be able to run up the score here, but that's us theory crafting.
Yeah, it comes down to execution, right? Because just because you have the right tools doesn't mean you know how to use them. Essentially, Thatcher ban and Finger ban are extremely popular, especially the Thatcher, of course. So this is the most well-practiced and well-versed scenario for both teams, whereas a Hibana Maverick ban is more rare, so to speak, but also, again, you have less tools in your toolbox to do the damage that you need to do. So as long as you got your fundamentals down, you should be finding the attack inside. Newers creeping out that nuke inside of Garage, really quick entry, finds Hurts, takes him off the board. That's Melusi. It's a good kill to have, but would have been even better if it was on Smoke or, of course, the Echo. But Newers looking for more, staying aggressive, looking for Casey, who OXG are assuming is also there to roam somewhere on the map.
In terms of that first half, by the way, there was a single diffuser planted by W7M. OXG getting the very first 4 rounds in terms of first blood and then dropping it. It's nice to see them back in fine form, getting the opening pick on their very first attack. And the Melusi, of course, is a solid pick always, but most importantly, you've shut down a very strong player. Herds and KZ have been the 2 real gunners for this team so far, and of course, I mean, that's also partially their job. They are the ones who are going to be getting the kills for this team with the way that W7M has been playing Clubhouse.
No, absolutely. They play the roles, they play the positions, they play the right operators as well. And honestly, the thing is, W7M opting for a more passive approach, you know, with both the smoke and the echo, a C4 into mute as well. So they are fine with waiting down the clock right now, and OXG, they're not going to know there's an echo on the board just yet. No IQ to counter it. If the time runs down far enough, that could be a problem for OXG, but with them already having 1 kill, they are looking like they're a little bit ahead of the pace that they would typically be on. All they got to do now is get the hatch opened up, and then they should be in a good position.
Vertical's hammer is seemingly broken.
It's not breaking the floor.
It's not working effectively. I don't know if it's opening up for him. Yes, it is. That was just a spectator issue on our end. It appears. We could be wrong.
This is your kind of floor. Yeah, there it is. Okay.
Yeah, there you go. You got it. 2 things to watch for me is Newers off of the Finka since she is banned. How effective can he be on that Nook? And secondly, Laxing on Ash. R4C, potentially an ACOG in his hands. Are they going to use Ash like an entry fragger, or are they going to use Ash for utility? That will be the real question. An armada of drones creeping in as Vertical picks up a kill onto JV. Newers with 1 as well onto KZ. The numbers for W7M getting worse. Fox stays there, but he cannot outduel GDN, but the position of the mute known now, and both Dream and Laxing get in on it. OXG make short work of the defense on their very first attack.
And the one thing to note here is that OXG knew they were attacking the basement, but they didn't even opt for the Hibana. So we spoke earlier about how the attackers have every single hard breach available. Well, they didn't even feel like they needed that operator because they wanted the more either efficient breaching with the 8s and, you know, the extra set of nades and Maverick, or they were just very confident that they didn't need any vertical control. Well, rather, they weren't afraid of getting impact tricked because they had good vertical coverage, even though Vert's Sledgehammer was having a bit of an issue there for a few brief moments. Of course, bringing the Maverick, you get more grenades. When Newers and the Nook, same story there as well. And you really get a whole artillery of pieces for self-destruction. Same thing with Laxing being on the Ash. You can always argue that Sophia's better. You get 2 ADS there in the stuns, and you get 2 self-destructions, and you get the LMG. There's something about playing Ash that just feels better if you're not an LMG player. And Laxing actually isn't a typical LMG player himself because he doesn't normally play these frag-heavy roles. He plays the +1, the flex, the lurk, the flank watch usually. So he's getting in the fray of things. He's 9-3 right now. Had an ace on the defensive half as well. He's in a great position right now. And he's using the G36C because R4C, it's kind of nerfed into the ground these days with the recoil control. It's hard.
Is he thriving right now?
He is thriving very
He's thriving
nicely.
right now.
My shirt had been his lane. Not a worry in the world after that one.
I did not expect you to be able to recite the entire quote, but thank you for jumping in.
It's actually Fresh's fault because he redid that meme not too long ago.
Oh my god, take some accountability here.
I blame him.
Don't just shove it off on somebody else, either way. Fresh isn't even here to defend himself.
Not yet.
Not yet.
He will be.
He will be indeed. He and Jesse will be joining us on the weekend.
Can't
well,
wait.
not us. I won't be here. But
you won't be here. They'll be joining me.
Yes, he'll be joining you and everybody else. Anywho, it's been a bit of a slow start as the hard breachers have been hard breaching. Soft breachers have been waiting for the soft breach. There we go. Laxing can quite easily Ash charge it and blow open the soft wall leading into the B-bomb site. Will he do that, though? No. Because he just doesn't want to. Nah, we'll wait. It's a bit of a precarious position. I don't... Hold on a second. Go back to it. It looks like a face. Go back, go back, go back, go back. Those look like eyes, and look at the line. Looks like a mouth. And now the face is gone. It did. It looked like two eyes and a funny Cheshire cat smile.
Oh, my God. Of course you would see that in the
I did see it.
heat of the moment.
There's free content for you, Bart, if you're listening. Either way. Opened up, and now inside logistics as well. Oxygen will begin to apply some pressure and clamp down on the bomb site from more than one angle. Selma charges opening up an even greater line of sight from construction. The impact trick doesn't do a nice shot from KZ onto the head of Dream. And the Selma charge will continue to go, opening an even greater window. W7M get a fantastic kill onto the diffuser.
Casey.
But Laxing takes down KZ, who walks through the open breach. Potentially bad coordination, who exactly knows? Fox getting shot away by a Maestro cam. Newer's on 1 HP and then finished off by Herds. I don't know if that was a grenade. I don't know if it was a nitro cell. I'm not sure exactly what did the lion's share of damage to Newer's. It could have been his own nade being botched. But either way, he's finished off. The first kill gone to W7M. There's plenty more of that to come as the toxic canister goes off near the opening to construction. Diffuser is still down inside of the construction portion of the map and will need to be retrieved with 35 seconds left on the clock.
Got the bombs inside as well, and this angle from Herds locks down the window jumping, gets that easy kill to Fox. 2v4 now with 25 seconds left. It is not looking good for OXG.
Vertical will now be the one to get shocked by that Maestro camera. The Evil Eye being particularly evil and menacing. Nice shot by Vertical onto Herds, playing that tiny, tight angle. Laxing up off Repel, and he has the misfortune of un-ADSing at the wrong time. Volps and JV prevent a runaway train of OXG from picking up speed. It's 4-4 yet again. Say what you will about today's matches, Nick, but you and I seem to get extremely competitive games.
Yes.
And we are better for it.
That we are. And I mean, it just keeps that kind of like honing down that this major and also the Charlotte major were like two of the most competitive majors or big tournaments, like tier 1 LAN events that we've ever really had, where we don't know who's going to win, we don't know how groups are going to go, options are happening on day 1, best of ones in groups, of course, all that stuff. And I love to see it because, again, going into this matchup before the event, you might be thinking, well, OXG, they should be winning this easily because w7m, they don't have much experience and they look so great in the North American League and NA is like the best region right now, yada yada yada. But what do you know? It's 4-4, super close. We might have a super brief rehost for you come up in just a second, just waiting for admin clarification on whether or not that is going to be happening. But just so you guys know, there is a chance that'll occur. Our lineup though, just talk about it. W7N is looking pretty damn aggressive, if you will. The Bandit deletion, the Thorn, and the Alibi as well. But no, we will in fact be having a rehost, it looks like.
Well, I mean, it would appear so.
Yes.
It does look like there will be some form of rehost, and that is confirmed now, and we can tell you with great certainty. There was a drone bug that has befallen none other than OXG as they are on attack. Ooh. Neither team has used their timeout just yet. I also think that's worth noting. So nobody has bothered to settle things down. Nobody has bothered to rein it in if they need to. Both teams sitting at 4 rounds apiece. If you look at opening picks, it's 5-3 in favor of OXG.
Yes.
3 bomb sites have been played. Bar and Stage have not emerged just yet. That was a bomb site that we saw on Clubhouse earlier today here on the stream when Wolves and Oxygen the same Oxygen who's in this match right now, played on this map earlier. And I said to you at the time it's a pocket pick that can be brought out. Do you think that w7m would go to that in an act of desperation, or do you think they're the kind of team, based on historical precedent, that's just going to stick to the old reliable?
LATAM in general actually plays bar like a fair amount, because like multiple teams come up playing it, like FaZe, Liquid, etc. NIP they also played, so I would be very surprised if w7m wouldn't be comfortable bringing it out as well, just due to the nature of the region that they play in. However, every single team does have a different preference, and the big question comes: how desperate are w7m for bar? Do they just have faith in their trio of bomb sites that we see that OXG brought out, the Germ, CC, and Basement, or do they feel like they can throw something in the spanner? Is that I always miss the setting up. A wrench in the spanner? A spanner in the wrench?
A spanner in the works?
A spanner in the works? They'll throw something at something and maybe whip out a bar.
Something spanner.
Something spanner.
Something spanner.
They'll make it work. It's possible. It's definitely possible. RR? RR.
I appreciate listening to you, a non-native English speaker, try to come up with like idioms and cliches.
It's
and
hard.
Just like, and it really is. And
it's hard.
It's something that
maybe I should just stop trying.
I don't think you should stop trying. I think that's the wrong lesson to take here.
Yeah?
Talk to anybody who's learned a language, and I, being a Canadian, should have a better grasp of French than I do. Unfortunately, I really struggle to learn languages. I am extremely envious of people who are capable of learning languages, like Milos, who knows all of them.
Oh, boy.
But the one way to really tell somebody's comfort in another language is if they get those turns of phrase. If they can get those idioms and those funny little quirky sayings that we use that are very specific and regional and national specific. If they can do that, then you know that they've made it. They are more of a local than some of us who speak the language for a living. Either way, we're back in it. It seems like everything is all in working order with the various drones, and it will be another Church defense. And I say another because while we left there and we didn't actually get underway with Church, 7th round, which was the very first defense for w7m, was downstairs on Church, and it was a methodical entry from OXG. Yes. The way that they whisked their way through the main floor, cut through the defenses, collapsed on Moto, isolated Blue, and then just waltzed in and killed the remaining players down the main hallway. It was nice stuff to see. Very well coordinated.
It's a fast injury from Newers, who was a Nook back then. He's now in the Sophia LMG instead. And Casey, trying to go for that spawn peak, does not hit any of the shots. No damage done. We spoke about it earlier, briefly before the drone block came through, the rehost that came through. Very aggressive lineup from w7m. Deletion, Thorn, Bandit, Alibi specifically. There's no primary shotgun from the defenders. It's just a secondary shotgun and Alibi. And of course, Lesion and Lucy's impact grenade. So this is going to be a kill-heavy round. No smoke, no mute, only a single C4, no echo this time, and no deployable shields outside the single one from Alibi, of course. But it's laxing once and once again, finding Hurts, taking him off the board. The sole C4 gone from the table, and Laxing is now, I believe, on 10 kills. And once again, on this Ash operator.
Unfortunate that the kills don't transfer over, but he was at 8 or 9, I believe, before the rehost. So you are, I'm going to say you are technically correct. I don't know. I'm just going to guess off of it. But still, really leading the way. Not bad for an old man. Not bad at all. Look at this. Dirt is soft, by the way.
They put those Rios upstairs instead for the roam. Could go for a cheeky rush here.
I mean, OXG is definitely a team that is well equipped to do that. Even if they have lost Newers, you've still got the explosive potential that comes with those Candelas. And when I mean explosive, I don't mean literal explosions. I mean the way that you can use those Candelas and explode into the bomb site. Drone is tossed out. I bet Volps hears that land by the door and then repositions. Laxing could be on the hunt. The thing is that if Laxing isn't needed for the actual execute, and he can hold Volps in place, that leaves a 3v3 on the bomb site with the tools necessary to accomplish it.
It's true. Might go to me. Oh, they don't actually. I think it's clear now. Foxay didn't check the entirety of the strip hallway corridor, but whoops, he walks up instead. Now they know his whereabouts, but this causes a different issue for OXG, right? A minute left to go, he knows Roman strip. You're right, Parker. Laxing or someone else could hold it, make it a 3 versus 3, but that's the same as a 4 versus 4, effectively. So you either gotta get the kill or ignore it.
This is gonna be an ego challenge from KZ onto Dream, but he manages to evade him. They don't lock eyes at all. Volps, who is trapped inside of strip, will now make it over towards Bar and could descend towards the actual bomb site. Where, while this is happening, is Laxing, because he was the one that was sitting on Volp's duty. Babysitting, some could even say. Drone still being tossed on in 30 seconds to go, and KZ's got the angle. Candelas go down. Flashing in the works. Tons of confusion, tons of disruption. A botched Candela might prove to be a difficulty as Vertical takes charge of Dirt Tunnel. Fox8 drops. He wants matters into his own hands. Laxing with one. Volps fires back. KZ is there as well. And Laxing does not survive longer than a few seconds after he makes it into the bomb site. W7M win their second round in a row and get their first lead of the game.
They do, and both teams still have their timeout, and I think this could be, there it is. OXG chooses to use it. It makes perfect sense, right? You've lost the lead, you're down a round, things aren't really working on this attacking half so far. 3 rounds have been played, you've only won a single one of those, and it wasn't necessarily super close in the rounds either, so you gotta talk about the structure, you gotta talk about the strats. What do they feel like the issues are? Because the injuries right now are happening. Laxton got the opening kill one round, Newer's got it the other. But they're unable to make those opening kill advantages into a round victory. So something is going wrong in the mid-round where they're losing bodies or not getting enough map control. And in that particular round of basement, it was Volps on the roam who flanked kitchen hallway. That was a problem. KZ found so many kills, 3 in fact, from the vertical angle towards the kitchen hatch as well, and just shut down the entire push. The moment that Dream wanted to drop the plant, instantly dead. Then Foxy had to pick up the scraps. He had to drop, instantly dead as well. There was nothing they could really do there. They could not get in, and they got shut down really quickly.
I'm looking at the stats and the numbers like we talked about in terms of those opening picks, and they obviously tell a pretty big story.
Yes.
These have been very definitive opening picks, Nick.
Yes.
These are not opening picks that are traded back right away. These are not opening picks that are very close to the end of the round. Almost every single time we see a first blood in this matchup, it is being done with a sizable advantage being gained in response to that opening pick. Oxygen lead the way by a huge margin. They've got 6 of the 9. That's pretty dominant. And yet still they've only got 4 rounds to their name, which means that while they grab that first pick, that is the mid-round becoming an issue. Or if the mid-round isn't the issue, they don't do enough during said mid-round to make the late round, which then becomes the issue, easier for them to deal with.
You're right. Absolutely right. See what they can do. Back to gym we go. First time for w7m to defend this bomb site. Haven't shown it just yet. They went basement, CC, basement, onto gym. No bar being showed just yet. Newer's fast entry as always on the Nook. Normally has a drone in front of his Dream this time around to show him what is clear and what is not. So again, the duo support entry will communicate what to do, what to hold, and Newer's is making great pace to the map. Might actually find Casey in the main stairs here, depending on the timing of things. Nuke, of course, with the gadget can be quite silent, whereas Valkyrie will always be making a little bit of noise with Casey. Actually takes advantage, walks up past the jump with Newer's. He has more information, C4 goes wide, does not hit the mark, and now it's a gunfight, 50-50 odds here. Newer's confidence ever, does not swing it. Casey walks back up the staircase, nobody dies.
A pre-fire to keep his teammates from being chased or him from being pounced upon, and a warning sign that is heeded by Oxygen.
C4?
C4 from
The drone
Hertz.
hole?
Is he going to do this?
There's no way.
Is this a lineup? The shrapnel changes do make for some interesting interactions. Newers takes down Herds at the very first pick. Yet again, Oxygen opens up the killing with a first blood. No response to happen from W7M. A little bit of damage done to the toes of KZ as he sits by the small opening created, and now it's a nitro cell to go off. Assuming that there would be a quick push through the newly opened jacuzzi wall, a pre-fire goes out, but nothing can do much. The wall actually gets opened up now, other than some small soft destruction that was done as the sledge of Vertical takes matters into his own hands. Quite literally, the sledgehammer in his hands.
You said earlier that the opening kill is very favored and no trades really happened. Again, it's been over a minute since that first kill came out. No one else has died. OXG once again in the lead with the man advantage. Need to convert this into a round victory. Otherwise, this would be devastating. They just had a technical timeout. They got the advantage. Nades are going out. A minute left to go. They're joining the bomb site. They know the whereabouts of 2 members now of W7M. And I gotta make the right choice at the right time and get inside the building, up the staircase and into the breach and take that control.
And there's some damage done from Newers on main stairs. His second kill. Volps is the one in action in the same spot. The Toxic Canister literally hits Newers, doing a tiny bit of damage as he scampers off down the stairs. Retreating from his position was GDN, gets droned out on the bomb site. Mark's in close proximity, but he's got a shotgun, and this thing gets more powerful the closer you get to the 0:00 minute mark. He'll get jiggle peeked and flattened Dream, and others there as well, but he's not the one to capitalize off it. It's JV. Now it's chaos in the midst of the bomb site. The control that Oxygen had, gone. The diffuser down as well. Laxing his next one, and he outduels GDN. He'll need to hold that diffuser and get a plant down. Suddenly, it's a 2v2. Newers will provide covering fire, but JV finishes him off. And Laxing is a sitting duck as W7M cheer from the benches and move to match point.
I really want to praise Volts in that round because he only really got one kill, but the Toxic Babes, they stalled out the main stairs push from OXG for 30 seconds straight. So you saw the two members, I believe it was Foxy and Dream, walk through Jacuzzi Breach. Both of those members got shotgun pumped in the face because no backup could make it towards the bomb site because Laxing and Newers were both stuck on main stairs due to the Toxic Babes from Volps. So really, really well-used utility that gave his team so much more map space to work with and allowed that aggressive play push up with the shotgun to get those 2 kills, to get diffuser control and create that chaos effect that happened on the bomb side. And again, the mid-round and late round for OXG is where they fall short every single time. They have at least one more shot here to prove us wrong. And if they win this round, they get one more. But it's always round by round right now because you're staring down the barrel of match point. At the very best OXG, they will go to OT and give themselves at least 1 point in this matchup. But if you're OXG, you're gonna want it a lot more. And if W7M, they win in regulation, if they win this or the next round, they become first in their group as they get 6 points in a day. And Wolves, they only had 5 total so far, and they've played both of their games. 1 OT win, 1 regular win. They're sitting on 5. So W7M, they can take it all right now, right here for day 1.
Their 1 point that Wolves dropped against Gaimin Gladiators might be enough to keep them out of that first place position for today, but they can make it up later on. NA has had a really rough day today. The only victory that's come out was XSET. That's it. Astralis went 0-2 for the day. Soniqs went into overtime against G2, but still ultimately lost. OXG lost their matchup earlier on.
Yep.
And now Soniqs are playing in yet another game, but
FaZe.
against FaZe Clan on the other stream, which I assume we will cut to if that game is still ongoing. Should this one conclude, I haven't been keeping up to date with the other stream or what could potentially be happening over there. Either way, OXG have opened up the breach leading into CCTV. They've got a line of sight towards the bomb chassis. Drones going out, and JV will power through. He's also lost some coverage down below as one of the walls in Garage have opened up. It's KZ to do some damage to Foxy. I was laughing at how they both seem to pull away at the same time. Foxy credited with the kill onto that one. One of the most aggressive and potent forces for W7M will be no more for this round. If W7M is to prevail and do so here, they'll do it without one of their best players. OXG trying to burn through the ADSs now as their assault begins on the catwalk. The grenade goes up and does some damage to JV, but look at that, there's covering fire. Volts with 2, he's finally finished off. Newers is there, and Laxing gets 1 as well. Into a 3v2 favoring OXG. Herd's on the ground. What line of sight could he have onto Vertical? Vertical ascends towards the stairs, but Herds looks away at the moment that OXG decides to take a couple steps into the garage. That's GDN holding on the fort upstairs. These are the last remaining players from W7M. Gunfire going on down below. They've isolated one of the players inside of Lounge. The call will likely come out. There's only 1 on site. Get to it if we can. Instead, Herds will try to chase off Newers, who somehow has to reload Zophia's LMG. That'll take him about 10 minutes. Vertical getting the diffuser down, and he'll actually live through it, but then die to the smoke. And in the post plant, the teams will sit into a 2v2. Laxing on the breach. This is a very powerful spot to be. Hard to swing onto it, and will need a pre-fire. He manages to evade the Malusi and get one, but he gets taken down. It's GDN versus Newers in a 1v1, but GDN doesn't have any intel. Out comes the shoddy, and around the corner, he gets it! GDN with ice in his veins, and all 3 points for W7M as they stand alone and on top of their group at the end of day one.
Impressive stuff. We see w7m in full effect when all 5 members are at the LAN event in person for the first time at an international tournament. They finished first in their group with 6 points on the board. Second is Wolves with 5. And then you got Gaimin Gladiators and OXG fighting for that bottom 3rd/4th. Tough day if you're OXG. But of course, tomorrow is another day, and the day after that is the final day of groups. Anything can still happen, but great showcasing so far.
W7M making their international LAN debut. Charlotte doesn't count because they had to play from Mexico. I
Agreed.
guess technically they competed internationally, but not in the same spirit.
Yeah.
And boy, they really showed why they are such a strong team that just routinely and consistently tops the charts in Brazil. That's it for this stream in terms of the games, but we have a brief debrief, I guess we could call it. A brief debrief.
Okay.
When we come back from this set of ads,